By hook or by needles we'll craft away, stitch by stitch we'll brighten the day, knitting and crocheting just for fun.
Hi and welcome back, or welcome to By Hook or By Needles. My name is Sam, and today I'm going to show you how to make this gorgeous, very easy, all-in-one. I want to say no-sew because I actually crochet the edges together, but we'll say minimum sew cardigan. And this one here is actually one I've made for my daughter. I am almost halfway through the one I'm making for her girlfriend, but I'm also going to be making one or two for my grandson. Now, what I thought I would do, because obviously this is black and rainbow colored, the black's not going to show up too well on the camera. It's not going to be very easy to see. So I want to make this as easy as I possibly can for people to not only see and follow, but to sort of understand. So I'm going to make one. The one I'm going to make is actually going to be in this blue color, almost maybe tealish. It's sort of, I don't know, I can't remember what the color is actually called. It's a Bendigo Woolen Mills 100% merino. Excuse me. As always, my voice starts to croak and crack as soon as I turn the camera on. Now, the first thing we're going to start with is something that we all hate doing, including me, and that is a swatch. But the reason we do a swatch is because this pattern does not have any sizes per se. So there's no, you can do a medium, large, small, whatever. I designed this so it could be, excuse me, I'm going to have to get rid of this frog just in a moment. Okay, let's see if this is a bit better. So we're going to do a swatch because I've done a repeat of 12 plus 1. So it's a multiple of 12, not a repeat, sorry. It's a multiple of 12 plus 1. And the reason why I've done a multiple of 12 is so that it can be divisible by both 3 and 4. And you will see later why that might be necessary and significant. But to start off, what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to do a chain of 12 because that's my multiple. And I'm going to just do, and it's only a really short, quick, and easy swatch. You don't have to sort of do, 10 rows or anything like that. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I'm using a, go in focus. Ooh, yeah, sort of. A G hook or a 4mm hook, because this is a DK, double knit, 8-ply, and or 3-weight yarn, depending on where you are. So I've got my 12 chain, I've got my 12 back bumps. Now, what I usually do, and this is where we're going to add one more. I'm going to put my thumb just here, all right? So you can see the back bump. Here's the back bump here, just there. Okay, I'm going to put my thumb now just below, there we go, nice and focused, just below the back bump. And that is just so that I can easily find the stitch I need to go, or the back bump I need to go into. Now, here's the +1. The +1 is actually doing a chain of 3, which will count as our extra 1 double crochet. Now, this is a double crochet using US terms. I am using US terms throughout, but for those in the UK, that would be a treble. So then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go into the 4th back bump with my first double crochet. Okay, so now I've got 2 double crochets because that chain of 3 counts as one of the double crochets. That's my plus 1. It's not a extra chain of 1, it's an extra stitch of 1, and these are my other 12 stitches. Okay, so I'm just going to do a double crochet into all of the stitches across. Oh dear, now my yarn's all tangled up as well. And I like to go in the back bumps because I do think that gives it a nice finish on the bottom. But you can do whatever you fancy. It's entirely up to you. If you don't want to go into the back bumps and you prefer to go in, from the side, you might want to come in from the side angle and go in that way. That's perfectly okay too. You do what you're comfortable with and whatever you prefer to do. So I'm just going to do my 12 double crochet. And this really is all the swatching that you're going to need to do. And the only reason, see now you can, theoretically, you can make a really long chain and as long, and use that as your tape measure almost, like so you'd go around someone's bust until the chain is long enough. You can do that and that will work, but then you also need to count the stitches because we're doing granny stitch. So that's 3 stitches, thus the 12 needs to be divisible by 3 because it's clusters of 3. So you would, if you were doing that sort of, doing a chain and measuring with your chain, you would then need to be counting your chain to make sure that it's a multiple of 3 when you get to the end, if you were doing it that way. But we're not doing it that way. We're doing it this way. Okay, so that is my 13 double crochet. And I'm just going to put that down. I'm going to grab my trusty tape measure and I am going to just measure the whole width, which includes the 1 extra stitch, and that comes to 7 centimeters, or I would say 2 3/4 inches. And if I just take off that 1 double crochet, it's about 6.5 centimeters, or almost 2.5, just over 2.5 inches. So what's next? Well, the next thing you need to do is measure your person. Like I said, this is custom made. Now, I'm making this for a 12-month-old, as I say. So I've got some measurements from a few websites. And 12-month-old, the chest measurement is 18 inches or 45 centimeters. The neck to waist is 7.5 inches or 19 centimeters. Sleeves, now the sleeves are generally measured in this case from under the arm to the wrist is 7.5 inches, which is also 19 centimeters again. And then if you look at the back of the garment from shoulder to shoulder, you're looking at 8.3 inches or 21 centimeters. So we're going to start off with the widest measurement. We're going to start off with our chest measurement, which is 18 inches or 45 centimeters. And this is how I'm going to work it out. So I've just got this and I've said it was 7 centimeters, okay, or 2 3/4 inches. I'm not going to use inches because I just can't mathematically do inches. So I need 45 centimeters. Okay, I need 45 centimeters, which I am going to divide by my 7 inches. Now, I'm as mathematically inept as anybody that has been, raised in the 80s, and yeah, we just don't like math. Mind you, I say that, but I didn't enjoy it. Now, fortunately, this actually works out to be 7 divided into 45. Yes, I am using a calculator off screen. Works out to be 38. Okay, so what does that tell me? Okay, no, that can't be 38. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Oh, I did minus, you silly woman. I'm always doing that. I'm always pressing the divide instead of the multiple. Okay, let's try that again. 45 divided by 7 equals, that's better. Oh, dear. My math, see, I couldn't even recognize that was wrong initially, is 6.428 times. So we're just going to take the first number, which is the 6, okay? So I'm going to do 6 multiples of my 12 stitches. Okay, let's do that again. Let's work that out again, okay? So the overall measurement for the baby, the 12-month-old chest is 45 centimeters. I want to know how many times one lot of 12 stitches goes into 45. And I know that this is 7 centimeters and this is 45 centimeters. So 45 divided by 7 is 6.42. You're better off going under than you are over because this still may stretch as you are working on it. It doesn't stretch as much as knitting does, but it still has a bit of give in it. And if it's too narrow at the front, you can always add a wider border. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 6. I'm going to multiply my 12 stitches by 6. Okay, we want 6 repeats, if you like, of 12. Okay, by 6, 72. So I need to start off with a chain of 72. And that will give me, should give me, and you can double check this when you do it. That 72 chain should give me, I've got black ink all over me now, should give me 45 centimeters or near enough to it. And of course, once I've done the first row, I will remeasure it just to make sure that it's not really way off. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to do a chain of 72, which is divisible by both 4 and 3, as well as 2. And when I say it's divisible by, I mean comes out not as a fraction. It's divisible and it comes out as a whole number. You don't want, so 72 divided by 4 is 18, and divided by 3 is, oh gosh, 72 divided by 3 is 24. So these counts that are good to remember. So it's 20, that 72 divided by 3, which comes out as 24, that tells me how many granny clusters I'm going to have. Okay? I'm going to have 24 granny clusters when I do this. Okay? And that's important to know as well. Okay, so that's enough of the math. If you have trouble with the math, just just play around with it. Like I say, you can do a chain, but you want that chain to be divisible initially by 3, and you also want it divisible by 4. Okay, so you want it multiples of 12. This is why I come up with the multiples of 12. So, and I know a lot of people probably haven't gotten that, but that's okay. If you're making just the 12-month-old along with me, then it's not going to be a huge issue. Now, I'm just going to pause here because I need to bring in another light, I think. I'm not sure if that's made much difference. So anyway, I'm going to start here. I'm going to do my chain of 72. And when I've done my chain of 72, I'm going to come back and show you that we do the chain of 3 to create the 73rd stitch. And we're going to work into the 4th back bump from the chain. So I will be back very shortly. So I've done my 72 and I've just measured it and it's come to 44 centimeters. So I needed it to be 45, but it's come to 44. So that's going to be close enough for our 12-month-old cardigan that we're going to make. So I'm going to turn over. I'm going to once again mark back bump that I want to go into. Okay. Oh, now it's focused. Okay. And then I'm going to chain 3. That gives me my extra stitch. And I'm going to go into that back bump with a double crochet. And I'm going to do a double crochet into every back bump all the way to the end. I think you'll agree this is easier than doing it in black, which would not necessarily show up so well. Okay, so I'm going to let you work a double crochet into every back bump. When you get to the end, just check that you now have 73 stitches, and then we can continue and we can start doing our cardigan. And I'll be right back. And there we are. I've got my 73 stitches, double crochets, and we are going to start with a chain of 3, and this is where we're going to start doing our granny clusters or granny stitches, whichever you would like prefer to call them. Now, each row is going to begin the same. This is going to count as the end sort of stitch, but the first cluster we're going to do is after 3 stitches. Okay, so we've got this as a border stitch more than anything else. And we've got 3, and we're going to do a cluster in here. I'm going to skip 3 again and go into the next gap, always in the gap, not into a stitch. And this, as you can see, you can now start, you can see the granny stitch start to form. Skip 3 double crochet and into the next space with 3. And you're going to do that all the way to the end. I'll meet you at the end to show you how we finish off each row. Each of these rows. One row is going to end with 1 stitch like this. The next row is going to actually end with a cluster of 3. So I'm going to show you 2 rows. I'm going to show you this one and how this, so this begins with a chain of 3 and you work into the after 3, in the space after the 3rd stitch. And I'll show you how it ends, and then I'm going to show you how the second row or the other alternate row works as well. So I will be back when I've gotten to the end of the row and show you how we finish off this type of row. Okay. Okay, I've just done my last granny cluster, and then there's 3 stitches, and I'm just going to work into the top of the chain 3. So you can see 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and this is my chain 3 from the beginning, and I'm just going to work into the top of that chain with a single double crochet, and that finishes off that row. Okay, so that's what the row looks like, and what it ends the same way as it starts, so it's nice and symmetrical. Okay, so it ends the same way it starts. So we're going to do it the same again. We're going to start with a chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, and we are going to turn our work. Now, because the row below started with a single crochet, this one is going to have a cluster. This row is going to start with a cluster in there. But the way I'm going to do it is this will count as the first stitch of the cluster. So I'm only going to put 2 stitches into the space. Just like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to put a granny cluster or granny stitch into each of the spaces all the way across. That's how easy it is. And when we come to the end, just pulling out some yarn. When we come to the end, we're going to do a granny cluster here. We're going to do 2 double crochets as a part of our granny cluster, and then the 3rd stitch is going to go into the top of the chain 3 again. Okay, so I'm just going to do that, and then we're going to talk about length and what we want to do with the length. Now, the length of measurement I had was what? Neck to waist, it says that it was 19 centimeters from neck to waist. So if we wanted the cardigan a little bit longer, we would just add on to that. Now I'm sort of thinking neck to waist 19 centimeters. I'm going to add a few centimeters to that because I usually measure from under the arm to the length you want for the stitch. So I'm just going to add a couple of centimeters, which will probably just end up being 1 row. So I'm going to go to 21 centimeters maybe. I mean, the length, you can just vary however you want it. You know, if you want to make a little bolero or a little shrug for a girl or a boy, you know, you might want to go shorter than that. It's not going to take long to get the length that we need, that's for sure, because we are making just a baby one here. But as I say, you know, it is so easily adaptable. You can make this any size you want. I'm just showing you in the baby format because it'll just be quicker to show you and easier to show you what to do. This is another good charity make, actually. I think if you were making clothes for charities, they would certainly appreciate this sort of thing. You can turn this into a jumper by actually working it in the round. You know, I could have joined my front, you know, my 2 sides and made a big circle and just worked in the round to make a jumper instead of a cardigan. And what I've been was quite famous for doing. I say famous, infamous almost for doing when I was making the rainbow striped one. Is I'd often come back and do the row above, and on my way back, I'd notice that the row below might have only had 2 stitches instead of 3. You know what? It's going to happen. Well, maybe it's not going to happen for you, but it definitely is going to happen for me, and that's okay. Mistakes, are going to be made, and it's really, you know, that's what makes it homemade. That's all handmade. Uh, you're going to notice probably more so than the person wearing it or the person you've gifted it to. Overall, they're not going to sort of, even if they did notice, they're not going to worry about it too much because they're not necessarily going to be aware that it's, actually technically an error. So, try not to get, hung up on, you know, the small errors. It's the big errors you've got to worry about when you sort of um, do a decrease in a granny stitch, but it's not a decrease type of thing, then that's a problem. But whoops, fluff. Yeah. So just gonna almost at the end. I'll keep filling. What do they call it? No. Oh, I can't remember. They call it something, I think, in the US Congress. They call it something filling. Bluster. Oh, I don't know. I'm sure someone will be screaming at the screen and trying to tell me what it is. So, yeah. Oops. I forget a lot of things lately. And I think, it's just brain fog. At least I don't forget how to crochet. That'd be a problem if I forgot how to crochet or knit. But I'm thankful that those things are hardcore into my muscle memory and hopefully won't ever be forgotten. So we'll come to the end. So I've got one more little gap there. I'm going to just do 2 double crochet, and then my 3rd double crochet is going to go into the chain, top of the chain 3, or you can just go into the chain space. You don't have to go into the top of the chain 3. You could just go into the space if you wanted. It's just that I find that it sort of gives a straighter edge if you just go into the top of the chain. So it gives you sort of a much straighter edge. Okay, so it's those 2 rows that you are going to repeat until you get to the length you want up to the underarm. So I'm going to have to work that out. Let me have a look and think about this. If it is 19 centimeters, which is just that, from neck to waist, yeah, I think you allow maybe 5 centimeters. What's the upper arm? I think I had an upper arm. Let me see if I can find it. Let's have a look at and see what that says. There are so many charts available if you just sort of Google them. This one that I'm about to share is another one that I found that is quite interesting. It gives you newborn, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, like chest width. Now this one says it's 20 inches, whereas the one I use said 18 inches. It's a difference of 2 inches, which is quite a bit really. But I mean, in the general scheme of things, it's not anything to sort of worry about. Now, center, back to wrist. I don't need to worry about that one. Back to waist. That's the top of the back. That would be nope, not going to worry about that one. Across back, shoulder width, neck width. Here we go. Upper arm width. Okay, which is 7 inches. These are all in inches, and that's going to give me 7 inches. Okay, so that's the upper arm. Whoops. Diameter, which is 18 centimeters, give or take. So I need about, that's a half of that is 9. Does it have to give me underarm to waist? No, sleeve length, underarm to wrist is, oh, see that, this is where, yeah, this is where this one fell down. See here? It says sleeve length, underarm to wrist, and they've clearly missed the first number. But I imagine it's between 6.5 inches and 8 inches, and it's got to be smaller than 7 inches. So I'm going to guess that it's 6 3/5 of an inch, which basically comes, yeah, which almost comes out to what I was saying before, the 18 centimeters. So yeah, armhole depth. Yes, I mean, you can really find a lot of measurements if you just Google, baby sizes or adult sizes, and they will give you averages. Obviously, if you want to, if you want to surprise someone with the garment and you don't want to ask them their sizes, you can go online and you can find all these tables that you can sort of share with people. And yeah, so there is that. I'm still trying to decide what to do. I think I'm going to make it. How long am I going to make it to under there? I am going to make it, I think I'm going to make it about 15 centimeters long. I think that'll probably be a good length. And that way, even if it's too long, it can be then we use like a coat instead of a cardigan, can't it? It's a long cardigan. And because they're in England at the moment, and that's where they're going to be, this is going to be warm, and that's 6 inches I'm going to make it. Just stick it to that. So I'm going to go back and forth until I get to, so let's see how many inches this is. This is 1.5 inches, which is 4 centimeters. So 4, 8, 12, say if I go to 16, so that's going to be 3, 6, 9, 12 rows. It's going to end up being 12 rows below the armpit. So I need to do another 9. My math. Yeah, I'm going to do another 9 rows, and then I'm going to look to increasing for the sleeves. So we're going to do that. I might do this in 2 parts, just because it just breaks up a little bit. You can go away now and you can work on your length, whatever length you want to do. And if you're making an adult size, now out of interest, where's my measurements? Where did I put my measurements? Okay, for the, let me find the image again. No, that's not that. Okay, I don't know where the image is gone. Oh, yes, I do. I can do that. See, I'm playing because I've got no idea what I'm doing. Right, for this one that I made, now this is for my daughter. Her bust measurement, oh, what did she say it was? Oh, dear me. 98 centimeters. So I went for 98 centimeters. This is a little bit bigger than 98 centimeters. But just for those who want to make an adult one and don't want to do a swatch, I did 156 chain plus one. Not one chain, one stitch. And I've shown you how to do that. So yeah, I did 156 chain, and then I added one, and the repeats. I'll just show you. Oops. I'll just minimize that. Maximize. Oh, where is it? Maximize that. Now, this is the one I'm making, and because it's rainbow, I've got 6 colors only. I've left out the pink because the pink isn't in the pride flag rainbow, and so I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. I've got 24 rows here. That gives me approximately 30 centimeters, which is the length they said they wanted. That's only 26. Oh, yeah, because I've still got a row to do. Yeah, it's almost 30 centimeters long, which is the length that they said they wanted. So, I've forgotten what I was going to say. Yeah, yeah, so that's how many rows I did. This is going to be a short bolero, as you could see from the other photo. This is not going to be, these are not long cardigans. If you want a long cardigan, you would obviously go much longer. These are measurements for under the arm to the bottom, because we are going to, in this row, I'm ready to do my increases for adding my sleeves. The sleeves are built in. They're not added on to afterwards. The length of the sleeve is added on to if you want to make the length of the sleeves longer, and that's what I'm doing with this one. My daughter wanted shorter sleeves, so thus the mannequin was wearing one with slightly shorter sleeves that came to just below the elbow. But my daughter-in-law to be wants to the wrist, so that's what I'm doing with hers. Once again, I could have shown you this one, but it would be in black, and I'm just not confident that you would sort of necessarily, I mean, you can't really see any definition on those black stitches. So to try and show you how to do this with black would have been not very successful, which is thus why I'm making my grandson I'm going to make him a rainbow one like that, but I'm also going to make him this nice blue one as well. And I might actually put a motif on this when I'm done. But yeah, I mean, you can add to the length as well with a shell stitch border or a lace border, or just, dare I say it, crab stitch, which I absolutely hate doing. Yeah, so I'm going to work on this. I'm going to do 9 more rows. So when I come back, I would have done my 9 rows, and I will then show you how to increase for the sleeves, the built-in sleeves, which you do not have to attach afterwards. Okay, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to give me a thumbie if you like what you're seeing so far. If you have any questions at all, especially even math questions, I'm no mathematician, but I can hopefully work out what you might want to know. So, if you're having trouble doing the math, don't think, oh, I can't get this, I'm stupid, because you're not stupid. It's a tricky concept to sort of get hold of. I accept that, but I think by sort of doing it that way, you really do get a good custom fit. Please just ask me. Give me your measurement. You can give it to me in centimeters if you can. If not, I'll just convert it. But and then what I will do is I'll do the math for you. I will tell you how many chain you need to start off with, if that's what you would like. I'm happy to do that. Well, I can't really tell you how many chain, can I? Because I don't know what yarn you're using. That's a tricky one. Well, you tell me how long your swatch is as well. Yeah, that would work. If you tell me how long your 12 stitch swatch is, and your diameter or length, width you want it, and then I'll work it out the rest for you. Happy to do it. Anyway, because I know it can be tricky for some of us. I certainly had to think 2 or 3 times about it myself. All right, goodbye. Thank you very much for watching. watching. I appreciate all your comments and your thumbs, and I will see you next time. I'll probably be able to finish doing the sleeves later on, but I will. I don't know. I'll probably put this video up tomorrow or the next day. Okay, ta-da for now, and take care. Goodbye. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It doesn't cost a thing to press the button. Thanks.